Lads, listen, I've put Wheel Evian to sleep, okay? There's a reason. He'll take up too much of my time, and we have a lot to get through here in Azerbaijan. So without further ado, let's go. Upgrade time! Look at... Oh, two of them failed. Another chassis upgrade? What the fuck? Performance index! Shiver me timbers! We are catching up! Look at it! Well, I'm sure that's cleared that thing right up. So let's quench our qualifying thirst and go to qualifying. What? Where else did you think we go? You stupid! It's good to be back. After a slightly prolonged absence on the MyTeam circus, we head over to balmy Baku. Anything can happen here, and my god, it usually does. Plenty of twists and turns, lots of claustrophobic walls, a sexy vixen strapped into that wonderful machine. Let's get straight into qualifying. And the first question is, did we get past Q1? Yes, we did. Convincingly. P6, incredible result. Don't even ask what Enzo finished. I'm gonna punch that woodlouse straight in the side. Okay, well, what about Q2? Well, actually, Q2 was very interesting. As you can see, the dark clouds of doom have descended upon the Baku city circuit, and as we immediately get very jiggy with Oscar Piastri's rear end, I was going out straight away because I saw the clouds and was like, nah, it's raining. Ignore the fact I crossed the white line. The FIA said it was okay. So my priority is to get past Oscar Piastri, have a nice calm outlap, and go from there. So, that's the priority, because it's going to rain. I'm at least 100% confident it's going to rain. So, we get out right ahead, and as you can see, look at the games the Australian is playing. We were upside down last time out. I don't need a topsy-turvy result. We cut him off very aggressively, might I add. Probably very unfairly as well. But I don't care. So, into the first corner we go. Target is to get ahead of Oscar Piastri. There's a Red Bull in the background, meanwhile. As you can see, through the first two corners, we have not exacted our plan, not executed it very well at all. And Oscar is pikeying our slipstream, giving it a good old suck. And that was without my permission, so I'm not very happy. Luckily, he doesn't think about trying to overtake us. And so we can continue with our lap. And as you can see, the raindrops are descending. They are finally spittling on top of the Ribena racing machine. And this second sector, though, we launch away. And through this corner, it's a great time as well. But the AI, of course, we know how strong they are. We know their confidence completely capitulates any chances that we might have. So, green sectors all around, courtesy of us not setting a lap time yet. So you can't read into that too much. Still managing to keep it flat out. So we still have testicles made out of tungsten. And as we go down the final straight, DRS still enabled, so we open up the rear flap. Carlos Sainz setting the pace as he was the first one to cross the line. Across the line we go, and we go P2 for now, but Perez immediately ruins my day. Red Bull are at the top, and I want to cry. Of course, I wasn't very happy with Oscar Piastri. I gave him a full fistful of my frustration, quite frankly. But look at the top 10. Look at the guys who aren't there. And as we go to the end of the session, Hamilton, Norris, Max Verstappen in the Red Bull, and George Russell, both Mercedes out in Q2, courtesy of the mixed conditions. That gives a prime opportunity to the likes of Pierre Gasly, Valtteri Bottas. Both Aston Martins now don't have a Red Bull and two Mercedes between them and the ultimate prize. So, for Fernando Alonso, he's licking his lips because there is a chance. Final part of qualifying, then the reason I'm not putting too much emphasis on how qualifying goes is because, of course, this is a sprint weekend. So as much as I'd like to get towards the sharp end of the grid and really show the potential of this Ribena racing blender, at the end of the day, it's not going to make a huge amount of difference because, of course, the sprint race is where it's going to be at in terms of setting the grid and getting a few extra points on the table. Into turn number 3, pinching the car into the apex absolutely brilliantly. And here comes my favourite section, Sector 2, into the right-hander, in my opinion, the most clumsy corner on the circuit. The car just feels like it wants to understeer into there, but into here, getting it as close to the wall as you dare. Try not to clip that curb on the right, it unsettles the car ferociously. Luckily, we don't do that, and we continue our merry way, cascading down towards the right-hander. Ignore. Towards the castle section we go then. Flick the car in, have the confidence, try not to clip the wall, which we don't. We successfully keep the car in one piece. You can be so close, right on the limit. It's millimetric precision you've got to have in order to get the best lap time possible. balls to the wall, full throttle then as we come to my favourite corner on the entire track. Use a bit of the off surface and then flick it in. I could have in fact pinched it into the apex a little bit more, but luckily for me, the car keeps itself together and it's a purple sector 2. This is important. This could be our best qualifying result yet. We've stayed in the top 10 every single time so far, but there is a small chance we really set the timing screens alight with both Mercedes and Max Verstappen out of the running. Could we spring a surprise here in the streets of Baku? DRS wide open, and as we go across the line, what is our time going to be? I have no idea. I can't remember. I recorded this. Oh, P3! Oh my god! What a result! Unbelievable! Oh, I am absolutely cackling. Checo Perez, the Mexican minister of driving really slowly, has finished behind us in qualifying. We've out-qualified both Red Bulls, can I just say. We're living in a fairy tale currently. My goodness, what a start to the weekend this is. In the end, it's the Ferraris that are on cloud 9. Unbelievable performance from them. Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc, the only drivers to get into the 139s, and they have stamped their authority over the rest of the grid for potentially the whole of the rest of this race weekend. Of course, though, there is a sprint race to attend to, so you have no idea what could possibly happen. Esteban Ocon and Pierre Gasly do very well for Alpine. This could be their best opportunity yet to score big points for the team. But the sprint race is just around the corner. And if you thought I made things simple for myself, well, I made a catastrophic mistake. I really screwed up in my knowledge of the sprint race format. In my haste to keep components fresh for the rest of the weekend, I changed my engine out between qualifying and the second practice session. And when I went to change them for the sprint race itself, it said I would get a penalty no matter what engine components I put in. So, the unfortunate reality is, I would be starting lower down the grid, so I took the hit. Of course, it won't affect the sprint race hugely, but for the actual race, I will be starting right at the back. So let's go and have some fun in the sprint, shall we?
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. An immense lap from Carlos Sainz yesterday puts him in pole position. Charles Leclerc alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Grim Reaper, Perez, Fernando Alonso, Ocon, Oscar Piastri, Gasly, Stroll, Bottas, Hamilton, Magnussen, Norris, Verstappen, Russell, Hulkenberg, Tsunoda, Joe, Albon, Fittipaldi, De Vries and Logan Sargent. And with preparations almost complete, let's head trackside for today's sprint.
Some things in life are extremely inevitable. And in the case of Logan Sargent and Nick De Vries, it's them starting from Saturn. Welcome everybody to the sprint race here at Azerbaijan. For round 4 of the MyTeam journey, of course I explained that I've got penalties for the actual race, but it does not affect our sprint race starting position. Of course, in the game, they haven't actually reflected real life because, well, it's the official Formula 1 game. Why would they? Regardless, let's go out there and really cause some havoc. 5 red lights for the sprint race. Go out, and it's time to show our hand as Leclerc drops anchor. Oh no, the Monegasque man with another terrible start as we're immediately under threat from Perez. We hold the momentum round the outside, and now we have to set about just eating up the miles ahead of us. We know we have pace. We've shown it in qualifying. Immediately getting a snap of oversteer. That's derailed my point. Meanwhile, there's yellow flags everywhere behind us as everyone tries to navigate the first sector successfully and without damage. But what a terrible start from Charles Leclerc. Immediately capitulates his race, and his sprint has turned from bad to worse. Unbelievable. We're up to P2 already, and now we can set our sights potentially on the lead of the race. However, Sainz already has a 1 second gap between us and ultimate success. It's Perez that's on the move, though. We defend to the inside. That gap was always going to close. Some of you might say that was a late move, but that gap was always going to close. I knew he'd go for that inside line, so we squeeze him out to the outside and keep P2 under our name. Meanwhile, the chase is on for Carlos Sainz. In the castle section on that exit in particular, our traction is absolutely phenomenal. And now we need to use that toe, that slipstream. We do have a tiny bit of it. And through this corner, again, another place where we absolutely love to gain time. Apparently not there too much, but on the exits at least, We are absolutely flying. That corner is so easy to lock up. The tyres just hate it when you're braking on that downhill. The momentum is carrying you forwards, and then the tyres are trying to, well, stop immediately. This is really technical stuff, I'm telling you. Ted Kravitz might be out of a job after I've commentated this race, but regardless, look at the way the car pinches itself in towards that left-hander. We actually really overcompensate in that left-hander. As a result, the right-hander is crap. Anyway, the point is, we need to just keep it together and keep consistent. The gap is under a second, and DRS, of course, enabled on this lap. Us three of Sainz, myself, and Perez all getting away in this little three-figured train. And now we just need to use the DRS, keep ahead of Perez, and at the same time go on the offensive. It's a game of 4D chess here in the sprint race, our first ever sprint race in this career mode. We've done a couple, of course, in the previous game on F1 22, but F1 23, I'm feeling extremely confident. Perez, meanwhile, with some incredible straight line speed, we managed to fend him off successfully. No move doing there from him. And the Mexican Minister of Mauling the opposition is not doing any mauling at all. He's having a tortilla de patata. Anyway, Sainz is the target. We're sidewinding our way through this circuit, and we're going to try and slurp him up. The gap now just 3 tenths between us and our first potential win of the entire season. And my God, what a result that would be for Ribena Racing. And look, we've managed to keep the gap. We actually get a bit of a slide on at the exit there. We pulled the gap from Perez as well, so it feels like we're having a slight crossover here between the mediums and the softs, of course, all starting on the same age worth of tyres. So, slipstream, DRS, and a chunk of ERS will be deployed down this main straight. And ladies and gentlemen, hold your horses. Don't touch that dial. We could be leading a race in this career mode. Sainz moves across a bit of a jolt, but we managed to get the move done. A forceful move down the inside. No damage on our wagon, and we make progress. And we are in the lead. No one between us and the ultimate prize here in the sprint race. And what could have been pole position for the race tomorrow. Unbelievably, we screwed the pooch. So, the game's the game, honestly. But you know what? I don't care. This is exactly the ego boost and the confidence boost that we need. We haven't been able to touch the top 3 teams so much as with a whisker during the first couple of opportunities, especially at Bahrain was our first real chance. This is the biggest opportunity we have of scoring big points as Perez and Sainz go head to head. Perez going down the inside, actually round the outside, excuse me, I've got eyes. He actually gets the move done. So despite the fact those softs are crying out for resuscitation, he is really in the hunt and could potentially cause us some problems, even though his softs are extremely worn. My goodness me. But as we go down the main straight, I want to indulge you in some team radio. So here, have a listen.
You're in first position, front of the pack. Perez is behind you. Okay, the gap is less than a second. Okay, they're on old softs. That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. Let's go. Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 22.3 seconds.
There's no significance to that at all. I'm just feeling a bit smug. On to the end of lap number 7, then almost onto lap number 8 of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix sprint race. As you can see, the gap between us and Perez is over a second, and I don't need to try and write the rest of this script for you because it writes itself. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot believe I am saying this, but we, as long as we get this corner right here, which is a left, so ignore what I said, and we do, we're going to win our first race of the season, and it is a sprint race, but in significance, Ribena Racing, we never did this on last year's game. We were so far away, we never even got close, we never even got a chance to have a whiff of the winner's trophy, of the champagne. But in our first sprint race on F1 23, we have done it! We've won the sprint race! Our first victory radio call of the season rings out for all to hear. We are on the hunt. We beat the competition here in Baku. What could have been pole position for the race tomorrow? It doesn't matter. We have stamped our authority big time. In just our 4th race of the season, we begin to really show our hand. All the aces being played, and my God, as all the hard work and dedication and pace paid off in spades. It's a sensational showing in the sprint race, ladies and gentlemen, and while I can dwell on my result for ages, by the way, can I just say, we won. We beat everybody else. Suck on that. Other stories, though. Verstappen and Hamilton recovered pretty well. They're going to start 6th and 8th for the actual race tomorrow. Leclerc, in the end, finished 6th after dropping anchor at the start. Oh, screw off. Enzo's not really doing himself any favours here, considering also it was a sprint race. But anyway, it is time to recoup, it's time to refocus, because we are starting from the back for tomorrow's race. Hi everyone, it's me, it's Karl here. I just wanted to say that I recorded the first 10 laps, or 11 laps of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and my footage corrupted, so you won't be able to see actually me driving for the first, half of the race. I can't apologise enough. It's okay, though, because I recorded the replay, so you'll still be able to see the first 11 laps of the race. So without further ado, it's time for Baku. Let's go! 5 red lights for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. We're starting in plumb last. Lights out, and away we go. The front two seem to get away pretty well. My voice has not. Jesus Christ. Let's see how we do, though. Straight away, feinting to the inside, diving down the inside of a bunch of cars. The Williams side by side. A good start from Sargent, trying to get in the mix with his teammate. But we cascade past 5 cars and slalom past another 2. Sonoda and Magnussen caught napping, and now it's us versus Valtteri Bottas. Down the second straight, on board with the current flying fin of the grid as he tries to use the slipstream and the toe from the Haas car ahead. But look at this. Down the inside we go. Hello there, I say. And as you can see, we're starting on the hard tyres. Why are we starting on the hards? Well, this will all become apparent very soon. But anyway, look at this. A Mercedes of Russell and Norris ahead, fighting away. And we're looking to the inside of Hulkenberg. We are hungry for blood today, like a shark, which is what my teammate should be. But bouncing over the curbs goes Hulkenberg. It disrupts our rhythm. And we have to take avoiding action a little bit, but no damage incurred. No further squabbles, and we are up already to P13 from the back of the grid. Fantastic stuff. Hot pursuit is now entailed on the McLarens and George Russell ahead, who will be hoping for more. But as you can see, it wasn't going to be that simple, was it? Hard tyres versus soft tyres. Immediately, Hulkenberg fired those softs up, almost clipping the wall on the exit there. Good grief, the Haas man not leaving any quarter, no stone unturned there. He actually overtakes us in a straight line, as you can see, using the slipstream, trying to get to the inside. And oh, God! What on earth happened there? It was Bottas getting his nose in and making us very squirmy. Bottas' suicide mission aside, anyways, he slots back into P15 just behind us, and we are in hot pursuit, in the slidey slipstream of Nico Hulkenberg. We get out of his slimy rear end because Haas are a pretty slimy team at the best of times, and just go right round the outside. Even though we're on the hard tyres, it doesn't even matter. Our crusade continues, and the next target is Lando Norris, who's actually been displaced by George Russell. Immediately the Mercedes man springing into life. And here is someone who had an incredible start. Ocon, by the way, you would have seen in the top left, actually got ahead of Carlos Sainz and made my voice break. But he's been holding down that P3, but it's almost an inevitability, really. Even without slipstream, he's got so many faster cars behind him looking to lap up any kind of milk that position has to offer. And one of those is Fernando Alonso. He's weaning P3 out of Ocon's grasp, and through he goes into P3, but Ocon's not done yet. Fighting down the inside, the former teammate's getting very frosty, but Alonso holds the momentum round the outside, as he should, considering he is a much better driver. Still, it can't get much worse for Esteban Ocon. His own DRS has been enabled this lap, and he's got DRS off Alonso. Oh, wait. He's got Max Verstappen behind him. It got much worse for the French man in the French team. He waves his white flag, and he's now down to P5 against Max Verstappen. Meanwhile, back to our crusade, we are firmly in the slipstream and DRS range of the McLaren of Lando Norris. By the way, both the McLarens have also started on hards. I have no idea what strategy they're deploying. We're hitting the rev limiter, meanwhile, as we dive out to the outside, use the momentum, run rings around the McLaren man, and just like that, we are up into P12, chopping across there to deter an extra move from happening. And now, look at this, Russell and Gasly having a little scrap. Hello there! Alpine's again. Gasly's also on the hards, by the way. Alpine have really screwed the pooch on the strategy there. My voice is screwed, but down the inside we dive. on Oscar Piastri. A nifty little move there. And Russell's been backed up as well. So we say, hey, I'd love a piece of the action there. Down the inside we go. The dogfight ends with us being thrown the bone. And Russell has no biscuits delivered his way. P10 now, already in the points. Fantastic stuff. Oh, by the way, it gets worse for Ocon, just in case if you thought it wasn't going to get worse. I hate to spoil it for you, it's just about to. Hamilton firmly in the slipstream, DRS wide open. He's in the Mercedes. Ocon's in a white flag waving Alpine on white banded tyres, so he's screwed. Hamilton through into P6, textbook little move, and it's goodnight Irene for the Alpine driver. He now has to worry about Lance Stroll in the Aston Martin. Those softs, by the way, after 5 laps, still working brilliantly, as Ocon really defends the inside. He doesn't want to give this up in a hurry. Meanwhile, there's us in the background, getting past Pierre Gasly, up into P9. So while these two fight it out and slow each other up a bunch, great little move from Stroll on the outside there, we are in pursuit and have them in our crosshairs, as Ocon is not done yet. Stroll has not been able to get away, and Ocon retakes that P7 position. And we look to the outside there. The momentum was on our side, but unfortunately nothing doing there. We just have to hang back a little bit, pick our battles as much as we can. That is the #1 killer of a race here in Baku, apart from the castle section, but we won't talk about that. It's picking your battles, being wise about them, not going too banzai at the best of times. But we send the move to the inside, we feint it, we telegraph it, because look at that. That is a swift and superb switchback. As we have the outside line, Stroll bounces over the curbs, a tiny bit of contact, but we are up into P8 now. We are really stamping our authority this race, just like we did in the sprint, except when it comes to the real race, we are romping our way up the field. Up into P8 now. Our next target is the Alpine of Esteban Ocon, and we are right in range. But as we go down towards the left-hander, we've been driving super cleanly all race, so there's no... Edit. Here's the situation up front then. Here's the Mexican minister of screwing the pooch, which is why he now has a restraining order. Sergio Perez leading comfortably from Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari. Verstappen's now up to P3. Leclerc in P4, so it's Red Bull and Ferrari line astern, as Alonso drops to P5 and Hamilton is catching. But what's this? It's us in hot pursuit, DRS wide open. We didn't even need it to get alongside Esteban Ocon. Both hard tyre runners, and the top hard tyre runner is now us. Lap number 8 is entered, and we have entered into P7. Lucky number 7. Number 7 has been donned onto our car, and we are now firmly in range of some big points. As Hamilton and Alonso will be fighting soon, on board with Hamilton. He has to catch up soon, because if he doesn't, oh goodness, here we are. We are right in range. And once again, you know how it goes. We somehow have incredible pace around this track. I have no idea what happened overnight to give us this unbelievable pace. But you know what? I'll take it. We're going to use it. The game's the game. As we have DRS wide open, firmly in the slipstream. There goes the DRS. And in the slipstream of Hamilton, we dummy him to the inside we go. Ballsy little move and manoeuvre, but we get it done. Our bravery pays off as we go a bit wide, actually. Gaseous Gremlin's removed. It's still... oh, it's code red currently. It could be code brown if Hamilton tries to go for a move here. He's still firmly under our diffuser, which I didn't give him permission to do, so I'm not very happy. But DRS wide open. He's going to try and make a move into turn number 3. My goodness me. Almost lost the car in the DRS as we slide our way through that corner there. That was very sumptuous indeed. Of course, it doesn't really gain time, but at the end of the day, we are through into P6 now. 8 points to our name and looking for more. The overhead shot of Perez, Sainz and Verstappen, our top 3. Leclerc just slightly losing touch to the top 3 as we go through. Here's Alonso, but look at that vixen. He's back again. The wily old fox has been chased by the young blood, and through the chicane we go, through the right-hander, and we actually clip the wall there with our tyre. You actually hear it underneath my screaming, quite frankly. You'll hear it. I'm surprised we didn't have our wheels sheared off there with the contact and the speed we were carrying. But regardless, DRS wide open. We're going to head to the inside line once again. And towards turn number 1, it's as textbook as it's ever going to be. We catalogue a crisp manoeuvre up into P5. And we are in the double figures worth of points. Once again in this season. We did it in Bahrain, and we're looking to do it again here in Baku. Lap number 10, by the way. My goodness me, as we see a bunch of drivers begin to pit, one of which is Pierre Gasly. He's down in P19 currently, and as you can see with my great replay camera skills, I'm on Xbox, shut up, Gasly goes on to mediums. So he started on hards, goes to mediums on lap number 10, might I add, and then he has a kiss of Bottas's rear end. So I guess their friendship is at an all-time high then, but Gasly says, no sir, that's not what I meant to do. Please get that impression out of your head. Round the outside with DRS into the braking zone, and he's easily passed. Chops across there. Albon and Hulkenberg having races to forget, quite frankly, right at the back. Meanwhile, here we are as we continue our crusade. Into the pits we go. Lap number 11 we enter here at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Alonso comes in as well, just behind us. And we're coming in to fit on the medium tyres. So the plan originally was potentially to do a one-stop, but I've had a little thought, and the thing is, I commentated on a league race not too long ago. And in that race, towards the end of the race, the leader, the eventual winner of the race, went onto the soft tyres as we managed to get out ahead of Sargent. Thank God we've done that. The American man is looking for freedom and to become the hero of this story. Nothing doing there, though. Even with DRS, we just chop him off completely, and there is no way through for the American man. Good, we're all caught up. Let's get this bread underway. Hello everyone, it's good to be back at the saddle and in 60 FPS. I've missed this, trust me. Through the castle section we go then. Our first target is Yuki Tsunoda, by the way. Most of these guys are on old tyres. And you'll see immediately, like I've said many a time in commentary and my team alike, and probably last to first, the difference between new and old tyres cannot be overstated. As into my favourite corner of the track, we immediately send a move. Tsunoda actually just gets scared out of the way. And really, I should have been a bit more patient, maybe waited for the DRS. But you can see how much time we would have lost as through this left-hander alone. Was 2 tenths behind, now 3, 5, 6 tenths, nearly 7 tenths, is 7 tenths behind, approaching 8 tenths behind us in just one corner and traction zone. Unbelievable. That's the amount of time I would have lost. So, our next target now is Kevin Magnussen. By the way, what I was alluding to, in terms of the commentary, I commentated on the league race. The eventual winner of that race pitted onto softs with 4 or 5 laps to go. Came from 4th position, caught up almost immediately, and won the race by more than he would have otherwise if he'd have stayed out. It was a massive dogfight all the way through, tussling for position all the way through, tooth and nail stuff, but in the end it was the Ferrari man of Stark, if you watch Blackout, that won that race with a bold move to switch onto the softs at the very end. Meanwhile, while I've been speaking about that, we've reeled in Kevin Magnussen. Temps upon temps, every single corner. And once again, coming up to my favourite corner of the track, we're nowhere near close enough. He actually deploys a bit of battery there. Scared of our pace. That's what we like to see. We might be the same as Haas on the performance index, but in terms of skill, we are a much higher calibre. As down the inside of the left-hander we go, it's a purple sector too, and we get right past the Haas car of Kevin Magnussen. Immediately drops 7 tenths on his head top. He's absolutely squirmy. He's quaking in his boots, as should the rest of the grid, to be honest with you, because we are absolutely flying out there. And as we come down the final straight, Norris gets past his teammate, meanwhile. Goodness me, both the hard-tyre McLaren runners looking for blood. And as we come across the line... Oh, never mind then. No fastest lap. We've entered the fulcrum phase of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Into the castle section we go. Verstappen exited the pit lane just now on new hards, but is stuck behind the McLaren of Oscar Piastri, who I'm sure he'll overtake soon. But Norris has actually got away from Piastri, so just clearly the faster driver in that McLaren car, as there's yellow flags for some reason behind Norris. No! Oh my god, it's Norris! No! His engine's given up the ghost! Unbelievable, it's come to haunt him, and more hauntingly, we get past... Oh, Leclerc! No! Norris did not hold his line. Leclerc went to the inside thinking Norris would hold his line. The McLaren man dangerously comes across, and it's caused real capitulations in the race for the Monegasque man. Really has changed the complexion of his afternoon. The man who could have easily been in the running for a podium in this race is now going to have to come in and change his front wing in shocking news for the Ferrari driver. The prancing horse has a gammy leg, and it's all gone horribly wrong here at lap number 13, approaching lap number 14 in this race. Into the pits, new front wing, and potentially, in fact most definitely, game over. And onto softs he goes with 12 laps to go. Ferrari, what are you doing? Anyway, here's our race. What am I saying? Sainz has come out of the pit lane, meanwhile, alongside Verstappen, but Verstappen with the outside line pinches Sainz into the apex, and that opens the door for us. And now we have DRS, and this is our best opportunity yet to really stamp our authority as down the inside we go of the 2-time world champion into turn 3. We're through! into P2. Unbelievable stuff. The medium gamble has worked brilliantly so far. Of course, we have another stop to do, but our job now is to just get away from these two and let them squabble amongst themselves. Unbelievable. The side-by-side action into turn number 2 enabled us to get the momentum and sweep past the Red Bull driver. And now we have a really great chance of getting the best result possible. My God, unbelievable. Into the castle section we go, already dropping 8 tenths, and onto lap number 16 now we're on. We've dropped 2 seconds, and Sainz has actually got back past Max Verstappen. So this has gone really well for us. Even better than I could have possibly expected. Surely it can't get better than this. Good golly, Sainz and Verstappen are side by side. Verstappen with the inside line, fighting away, but Sainz is the one this time that has the momentum as Verstappen turns on his VTEC, cheating nonce. Meanwhile, lap number 17 at the end of the lap, this is the situation. We haven't actually caught up to Perez, despite the fact we are incredibly quick and we're holding Sainz and Verstappen at bay. Now the gap is 10 seconds as we enter lap number 18. And as you can see, our pit window is open. The softs seem to hold up really well, actually. So we have a choice to make. Do we pit? Or do we not? Yes, we did. Into the pits and onto the soft tyres. A fresh set of softs for the rest of this race. Our pit crew have been impeccable so far, especially on the first stop. Let's see how they do on the second stop. Our tyres phasing through reality. That is a bit weird. But anyway, that's the kind of juju my team has in store. Onto the softs we go, and crucially we get out ahead of the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton. And that means we have a clear track now ahead of us. And now we can stamp on those softs. Pry out the purchase as much as we can and set about chasing down the podium positions. Our first chance at a podium in the proper race all season. And immediately, when I tell you that these softs felt night and day, so much better than what we had before, I can't even stress that enough. One man who's also gone onto softs, by the way, we look at the fringes of the top 10 with Stroll leading Magnussen and Oscar Piastri, crucially, on soft tyres. So this could get very interesting. As you can see, in just a lap, he's caught up hugely to Kevin Magnussen and will surely have a say in this race yet about the amount of points McLaren can score. Norris might be out of it, but he certainly isn't. A purple sector 2 for us, and I just like to take you through a brilliant lap of the Baku City circuit. Through turn 1, tyres gripping up immediately. Into turn number 2, especially when the tyres get old, it's so easy to lock up the front. Kiss the curb, get the car straightened as much as you can, and then stamp on the power. Using a bit of battery as we head under the Rolex sponsorships. Haven't got that much ice on my wrist, but we're feeling pretty cool and collected as we go through turn number 3. Pinch the car in as much as possible. You have a bit of leeway between yourself, that curb, and the inevitable wall if you get it all wrong. Through that clumsy corner, we actually get it our best one yet. Straighten out the car, stamp on the traction. It's a purple sector 1. Immediately we are on the move, and that gap from Verstappen, which was 10.5 seconds, is already 7.8. Into the castle section, use as much of the curb as you dare. That is about as much as you can get away with on strict. I refuse to comment whether it's on strict. Nope. Through the castle section, confidence in spades. I break about the 50-meter board and just roll the car through. Hope it sticks on the exit there. Use that power, stamp on it once again. The softs screaming for life, but they are providing us with the purchase we need. Into my favourite corner, brake when the curb starts, pinch it towards that curb and then use the exit. You have a bit of room between that wall and the edge of the track, and I'm using that as much as possible. Pinching the car in, tyres already at 8% on the rears, nearly 9%, they just switch over. It's 2 purple sectors, and surely with this kind of pace and these tyres, there is only one outcome, and it's going to be the fastest lap of the entire race. Using every single ounce of engine power we have. Of course, Verstappen has DRS, so that skews the gap ahead a little bit. Across the line, a 1:41.5. And if Verstappen didn't have DRS, that would have been 5 seconds quicker. Oh my God, this is unbelievable. And even more unbelievably, Piastri has got past Magnussen, so the soft tyres are the tyre to be on, clearly. Great stuff from Oscar as he moves up in his rookie season into the points for his best chance yet. End of lap 23, and we are almost in DRS range. And I need to check the team radio because something's up here, honestly.
It's Verstappen ahead, and gap to the car in front is 1.9 seconds. Okay, they're on old hard tyres. Okay, they've done 10 laps on those tyres. The car ahead has damaged the front wing, but it seems fairly minor. time last lap was a 1:45.8.
Well, that's exactly as I suspected, really. While his teammate is closer to Georgia. That's probably not politically correct, is it? I get the confirmation that Verstappen does in fact have front wing damage, and try as I might, no matter how hard I looked to try and find where his front wing went off, as Sainz is darting from out of the rear wing of that Red Bull, trying to find an avenue past, but nothing doing there. Try as I might, I could not find a point where Verstappen got any kind of damage. Maybe there was the slightest ounce of contact that made it so, but nothing doing there, as we are extremely close. It's almost an inevitability when we'll get past Sainz, the first victim, and we're going to slap him right up. Sensational switchback, traction, turmoil for Carlos Sainz, as down the inside we go into the right-hander, and into P3 we go, into the podium positions, and we can go for even more through the castle section. The right, the left, Verstappen might have damage, but that will gain no sympathy from us on the exit. The traction is so superior, and into the left-hander, we've done it! We've done it! Into P2 we go. A perfect sprint race and a near-perfect race itself. Fastest lap, and P2 is ours for the taking. And as we go through the left-hander, oh yes, we are already out of DRS range. We leave Verstappen and Carlos Sainz to squabble between themselves. It's an incredible result, a supreme showing, and in Baku, I said anything could happen. The fairy tale is almost complete, as we're already 20% wear on the rears, but look at this, Piastri's up into P7, my goodness, and could yet get Fernando Alonso, but onto the last lap we go. We'll have to wait for confirmation on that. He's closing in all the time. We were never going to get close to Perez. We did catch up a tiny bit, but he will finish. The Mexican has mauled the rest of the grid, might I add. My God, what a race he had. He really has been the magician, the tyre whisperer, all other superlative that you could have given him. He has fulfilled today. But for us, my goodness me, started last on the grid in a car that should be nowhere near this position, made the bold strategy call, and it is going to pay off. And as long as we get through this chicane, it's going to be our first podium of the season. And we do. We've done it. Oh my God. In my team, we have never ever scored a podium. And suddenly, we're going to be near the sharp end. It's not P3. It's even better. Across the line for P2 at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. It's a dream result. The fairy tale is well and truly completed. Winning the sprint race and second place in the race. Ribena Racing, it's joy and jubilation, driver of the day. What a race and what a result. Woo!
It was a magnificent race and a drive right out of the top draw to take the win for Red Bull today. And talk to me. What do you think it was that sealed the win for them?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
Red Bull are our winners today after showcasing some incredible driving. It's been a huge push from them lately to stay competitive with the other teams, and they're certainly proving themselves.
Well, Perez wins again. He's looking imperious so far. The Mexican master has really put on a show for the crowd here today. 3 wins in 4 races for the Red Bull driver. Red Bull have another double podium in this season, already looking to stamp their authority. But Ribena Racing are the new team on the podium. Mercedes and Ferrari had their time in the sun, but it looks like we are going to be right up at the sharp end for the foreseeable future.
So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
I have to give it to the Grim Reaper.
Oh, yes. You've just got to love that name. That is my audio name, because we killed it! We slapped them up! Absolutely ruined their day! Sent them crying to death himself, who in turn also cried, because you can't write stuff this good. Winning the sprint race, P2 in the race, and fastest lap, 27 points across the whole weekend. What an absolutely incredible weekend for us. I can't even bother to find alliterative terms. We've just done for God's sake. Enzo, actually, no. You know what? Credit to him. He beat both Alfa Romeos, which is more that can be said for the sprint race. So, you know what, Enzo? I will give you a clap. Right, back to the results then, and championship stipulations. Perez wins, which means he'll extend his championship result. George Russell, by the way, for some reason, finished down in P15. I have no idea what on earth happened with him. I can only assume he got damage in the end, because he even finished behind the three-stopping Charles Leclerc. Unbelievable. He's had an absolute shocker of a race in what was such a promising weekend for the Monegasque driver. P2, not too far off his teammate, ends up in tears, quite frankly. Tsunoda did quite well almost to get points. Ocon managed to just get on the fringes of them in the end. My driver of the day has to be Oscar Piastri, though, who actually jumps his teammate in the standings up to P10. Perez, like I said, extends his advantage almost at 100 points already. Verstappen firmly in P2. We are firmly we have Sainz in our crosshairs. We are firmly in the hunt. We overtake Hamilton and co up to P4 in the standings. Alonso does quite well, remains in P8, closing up to George Russell. In the constructors, Red Bull, of course, are absolutely running away with things. Almost 100 points away from their nearest competitors. They'll be there before too long, honestly, so get ready to be disappointed. Meanwhile, for us, we're deadlifting our team really, really significantly. P4 in the constructors standings, beating Aston Martin, who have two good drivers. We have one driver who's excelling the limits of his car, and one driver who's shit. Oh yeah, we also had Carlos Sainz as a rival, but, you know, he didn't want it. Sainz has been smothered and incinerated this weekend. We lead the rivalry by 3 points. Just another bragging right in our collection. Acclaim has a humongous boost after what was an absolutely scintillating weekend in the city streets of Baku. And in the end, because we finished inside the top 10, it is another fantastic sponsor bonus. We get 100k extra on top of what we already have. We didn't damage our car at all, but whatever you want to believe, game, sure. We get an extra 100k. We're almost at $2 million, which is great to see. It has been an absolutely wonderful episode, and long may the success continue. We're heading over to the USA next, the Miami Grand Prix, to ruin the carbon cycle. But over at the Hard Rock Stadium, we'll be hoping for a rock-hard ending. If you did enjoy this episode, our first podium of the entire season, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already for more MyTeam and F1 content on this channel. And until next time, bye!